Welcome back to another video, everybody. I'm sorry there's been a little bit of a wait. I apologise first if I look a little bit tatty and a little bit mucky or a little bit tired. We've got a new foster dog at home, and although from the looks of him butter wouldn't melt, little nightmare. He's a little hooligan. He's keeping me up at night and waking me up in the morning, so we're running on caffeine and fumes as usual. This week's car is a black Vauxhall Corsa. I know, perhaps not one of our usual vehicles. This one is definitely going to be for the compound junkies. Breaking the fourth wall here, the car is already finished, so I can let you know right here, right now, that this car was truly mullered. It was very, very bad. All compound, all wool, all rotary, a lot of cutting. It's got a bit of everything going on. It's had years of poor washing and poor polishing, like, you know, hand polishing on panels that have not been decontaminated, so we all know the damage. Little bit of paintwork done here and there. So we've got the holograms and some sanding marks, some very, very deep marks, which I had to attack right up on the edge and not admit defeat. The car is in for, it's being done for a good customer of mine who is paying to have it presented to his nephew as his first car. We should all be so lucky, right? This thing is going to be a little pocket rocket for a young lad, first car, just passed his test. Wish I had this when I was that age. So we've got to be realistic with the work that we do, with the time and the effort and the money that's put into it, right? So technically in for a dual stage, yes, we did a little bit more, had to dig in on certain areas, certain panels, one of the sills. I mean, it was so badly swirled that it looked matte. It literally looked like there was a matte wrap that had been put on it. So it was all paint, all black, everything. Wheels stayed on, you know, no glass polishing or cut. It was just literally do as much as we can on the paintwork and then coat it. Coating, we've gone with Titan, the OG, the original one. Easiest coating in the world to use, looks fantastic. It's a 17-year-old's first car. We've got no idea what's going to happen. It's probably going to get in a couple of bumps and scrapes. I don't know the lad. It's not that I've not got faith in him, but we all know the score here. So there's no point in piling tons of money into a top-end coating. Let's give the lad a break. Let's let him just enjoy something nice until he isn't anymore. Car will still get a little bit of an interior tidy up, just an interior valet, quick wipe down, quick hoover. I'm going to try and make this video quick. I haven't looked at the footage. I don't know how much I've got. I've tried to record everything. It might end up being dead long and be all machining and all coating, but I'm going to try and shrink it down and condense it like I have been doing. But mark my words, this one is for the swirl junkies. It is for the compound junkies. We've got the really, really heavy cuts out. We've got the big guns out. We've got the wool pads out. So hopefully it'll turn out well. As always, if you've got any questions or comments or suggestions for videos, please drop them in the comments below. I always try and reply. I always try and get to everything. I have neglected the videos of late, I admit. I've had a lot of stuff going on personally, plus the dogs, plus other stuff, so it's been difficult to prioritise the time to the videoing and the editing. I apologise, I'm back now, I'm back to it. I've got a lot of social media stuff to post, and I promise that I will get back to the videos. I really, really want to get that machine polishing playlist for enthusiasts done, but I know it's going to take a lot of time and a lot of energy, so that is one of the things that I want to concentrate on. So, enough with the rambling. Go and grab yourself an adult beverage or some caffeine, maybe a bit of food, you know, keep you going. I will chapter everything below as always if you want to cut to something. Everybody that watches the entire video, I appreciate you, thank you. And I promise, more videos are coming soon. Okay, sit rep. Let me just take these out, hang on, I can hear myself. Sorry. That's better. Right, sit rep. About to work my way down the worst side of the car. This is definitely the most badly damaged. I've obviously adapted products, speeds, techniques and everything as we've gone, try and find the optimal combinations to chop out as much of the defects as we can, create as little dust as we can, but still finish to a level that I can refine in one further set. So we're still rotary and wool. For the internet detectives out there who want to probably try and call my bluff, let me try and get that on camera. So yes, I'm using speed. Does that show? No. Regardless, yeah, you're going to see me using speed 4 and 5 on the machine. That's the Flex 180, not 150. It has a very different speed range. It's designed with more torque for bigger pads, but because it's designed for bigger pads, it has a lower speed range. So speed 4, 5, we're sort of 900, 1100 RPM, like we said before, that we'd be sticking to. Using natural wool pads, again, as you know that I like to use. Sticking with the FameLab A50, it's working the best out of all of them. I've adapted the technique, and the reason I'm just doing this little interlude is newer detailers and enthusiasts who spend a lot of time on the internet, but perhaps not a lot of time polishing, are going to watch some of this technique and say it's wrong, because all you have read for your entire life within the community has been that you keep pads flat and you never take the machine off the paint when it's spinning. That is not true. It is much more important when you are using random orbital machines, Bigfoots, you know, the Rupes 15, 21mm, that type of machine. It's not so with the rotary. In fact, historically, you would use a rotary on its edge, because these pads, because they don't oscillate, they only rotate. The larger the pad, the more cut is created, because if you can imagine two particles on a pad doing one rotation, one particle, the further out the particle, it's covering a lot more distance than the one that is towards the centre, which means it's moving a lot quicker. So what you find is the centre of the pad gums up quite quickly, and that's why you get bits of polish spitting out everywhere. And then because you're not really breaking down that polish, because it's a much less effective work area, you find that can start to create damage. So what I'm doing is I am going up on the edge ever so slightly. I'm only trying to get the outer third of the pad. I'm not going right up on the edge. That's not what we're doing. We're not just trying to get the outside 10mm. We're not flat. We're just, I don't know, 10 degrees just off being flat. Outside third of the pad in the effective range of the cutting. It's going to look weird to you to begin with. I'm also only trying to cut, I'm not trying to cut into it like a knife. I'm trying to wipe down and then come up and then wipe down again. I don't want to dig and scour running that into the paint. I want to come off the paint and make sure that I'm polishing it nice. So I'm not trying to teach you what to do. I'm not telling you to do it. I'm just saying, people often say, you know, there's another way to do it. There are multiple ways to skin a cat and all that. What they usually mean is, I've got a better way, use my way, stop using your way. What I'm saying is there are lots of ways to do it. If you want to try this type of cutting, try it on a panel, a scrap panel, try it on a car that means a bit less to you perhaps in case you make a mistake. But give it a go. Don't just tell me I'm doing it wrong. Don't just tell me you've read a thing. Just give it a go. Natural wool pads also have a tendency to sort of collect in the middle. The fibres sort of puff up almost like a quiff, you know, at the centre of the head there. and that area can also cause damage. So just taking it off of the edge like that really helps to minimize the damage that area can create. So I can see that the lens is fogging up again for whatever reason. I think this camera's done. It's probably about time I retire it. So I'm going to reset this, take the battery off, cool it down, and then we're going to get going. Please enjoy. Questions, anything, as always. Once the video's finished, stick them in the comments below. I'll always answer them. Let's go.
Perdiendo mi mente, no feel it. I feel it. Don't cry, we gotta live before we die. A vivir antes de morir. Yeah, you're gone, but I'ma just do my best and try. Doing my best to hold up at night. Perdiendo mi mente and I feel it. Distracciones como I need it. Yeah, it hurts so much, but I need it. I need to feel it. Las cosas en la vida siempre duelen. Solo tenemos una vida. No lo pierdas. Si necesitas llora, llora, llora. Las cosas se mejoran. La vida no llora por ti. Me rompió el corazón cuando te fuiste de aquí. No sé si me está escuchando o si me está viendo a mí. Vamos a brindar 25 tequilas por ti, para recordar los momentos que pasé junto a ti. Y siempre hay pensamientos de ti. Mami siempre llora, pero ella está en tus manos, celebrando en tu alma siempre. Pero todavía lloro por ti. Perdiendo mi mente and I feel it, feel it. Solo tenemos una vida, no lo pierdas. Si necesitas llora, llora, llora. Las cosas se mejoran. La vida no llora por ti. It's the hardest pill to swallow in the moment. When I'm looking at you, time stops and it's stolen. Praying you will come back, but I know it's just a minor delusion. I'm losing. Pero tenemos que seguir hasta que no podamos. Yo nunca lo olvidaré porque yo sé que te amo. Me duele perderte, duele perder. Perdiendo mi mente and I feel it. Distracciones como I need it. Yeah, it hurts so much, but I need it. I need to feel it. Las cosas en la vida siempre duelen. Solo tenemos una vida. No lo pierdas. Si necesitas llora, llora, llora. Las cosas se mejoran. La vida no llora por ti. Perdiendo mi mente and I feel it. Distracciones como I need it.
Hello everybody, on to refining. What I'm going to try and do is shut off some of the other lights, try and focus everything from this side and play with the settings on the camera a little so that I can pick out the holograms as best as possible, really highlight them to show you that when they are gone, and actually how simple it is to pull out a hologram when it is created in a non-body shop, non-rushed style. They're obviously going to look pretty bad, so don't panic. As discussed before, the combinations will be pretty standard, not true finishing combinations, so it's not going to be a pad with zero cut and a very fine polish. It's going to be like a stock enhancement type combination, so something along the lines of yellow 3M Rupes. Actually that wasn't yellow 3M Rupes. Probably going to be along the lines of a yellow Rupes pad with something like Sonax Perfect Finish. I find that is a combination. Sonax Perfect Finish is a finishing polish. I think it's very much misunderstood. It's a finishing polish with a little bit extra cut initially, so it's not like a mid-range polish, something like Koch Chemie F601, that will have a little bit more cut again, but a little bit less finishing capabilities and maybe a little bit more fussy on some paints. Perfect Finish I find to be the perfect finish. It has just the right amount of cut, a little bit extra bite to begin with, but it finishes out so fine, it's unbelievable. The yellow Rupes pad, more rigid than a straight up finishing pad. The pad you actually saw me use there is a white Lake Country, not Hydrotech, like a white Lake Country CCS pad. Very similar pads. So basically a very good finishing polish and a pad which will maximise the cut that we get out of it but still finish with zero funk, zero striping and hazing and stuff. Like I said before, what is left is going to be left. I have extracted every little bit of cut I could out of the wool pads and the compounds before. Obviously I've left holograms, but what I haven't left is the scoury, scratchy holograms. So just really rinse them out as best as I can, and now I will maximise the cut / finish that I can get from this combination. We'll know that we finish clear. What's left is left. That's how it's got to be. And I mean, you know, as a 17-year-old kid running around in something like this, I mean, we should have been so lucky, right? It's I wish I had something like this at this age. So yeah, let me mess with the camera settings, and we will dive right in. We will do some close-up, real time. We will do some workflow, you know, a little bit of nooks and crannies that we've got to get into, and hopefully I can make believers out of you all that the Rotary is at least worth some trial and error and the effort. So let's get going.
just going UFC